It was the week before Christmas on Maple Lane. Snowflakes drifted down like tiny white feathers, landing on rooftops, trees, and the row of houses that lined the quiet street. Everywhere, there were lights. Golden fairy lights framed windows. Wreaths hung on doors like crowns made of pine and ribbon. Someone down the road was playing Christmas music, soft and cheerful, the sound carried by the cold air. From far away, the street looked perfect. Like something from a Christmas movie. But not every home on Maple Lane felt like a Christmas movie on the inside. In number 18 lived the Adeyemi family. Their house was small, with peeling paint on the front step and a door that always needed one last push to close properly. On the front window, there was only a single string of lights. Half of the bulbs did not work. The ones that did glowed softly, trying their best. Inside, the smell of tomato stew and rice filled the air. Mama Adeyemi stood at the stove, stirring the pot with slow, careful movements. Her back ached from another long shift at the care home, but her hands still moved gently. She hummed an old Nigerian hymn under her breath. Papa Adeyemi sat at the small kitchen table, counting coins and notes from his pocket. His hands were still dusted with flour from the bakery. There was a tired crease between his eyebrows, the kind that did not go away even when he smiled. On the floor, little Fola sat cross-legged with crayons, drawing a Christmas tree on a scrap of cardboard. She colored the leaves bright green and added yellow lines for lights. Her older sister, Beezy, sat beside her, plaiting the hair of a much-loved doll that was missing one arm. She made the doll a tiny paper crown. Their brother, Toby, stood by the front window, looking out at the street. His school coat was zipped right up to his chin. The cuffs were a little short this year, but he did not complain. He pressed his forehead lightly against the cool glass. Across the road, other children zoomed up and down the pavement on new scooters and shiny bikes. Some had hats with lights that blinked. Their laughter floated through the cold evening. Toby watched them with a half-smile and a quiet ache in his chest. He loved Christmas. The lights. The music. The feeling that something special might happen. But in their house, Christmas was always the same. The same simple meal. The same old clothes. And the same kind smiles from Mama and Papa as they said, "We are blessed. We have each other." And they were blessed. He knew that. He really did. But sometimes, especially at this time of year, Toby wished life did not feel quite so heavy. He wished his sisters could have brand new toys. He wished his parents did not look so tired all the time. He wished, just once, that Christmas could feel like it did in the movies. He sighed and turned away from the window. On the opposite side of Maple Lane, in number 7, lived Louisa. Her house was bigger, with a wide front porch and tall windows. The roof was lined with neat rows of fairy lights that flashed in patterns. There was a giant inflatable snowman on the lawn that waved silently at everyone who passed. Inside, boxes of decorations were piled in the hallway. A tall Christmas tree, almost reaching the ceiling, stood in the living room. Glass baubles sparkled on every branch. An expensive candle burned on the coffee table, filling the room with the smell of vanilla and pine. Louisa wandered through it all, her socks sliding over the polished wooden floor. She was 17, with a head of soft golden curls and curious green eyes that noticed more than most people realized. Her mother rushed past with a phone pressed to her ear. "Yes, the Christmas party is still on," she said. "Yes, the caterers are booked. And yes, the tree is done. No, we don't need anything else. Of course. Merry Christmas," she said before she ended the call. She did not notice Louisa move out of her way. Her father was in the study with the door closed, the blue light of his laptop glowing under the crack. Every so often, Louisa heard his voice, low and serious, as he spoke on video calls with people in other countries and other time zones. The house was busy. But it was not exactly warm. There were plenty of presents. piles of them already wrapped in silver and gold paper. Gifts from relatives. Gifts from business friends. And gifts ordered online just because they were on a list. But there was not much time. Not much listening. Not many slow, quiet moments together. Louisa picked up one of the gift tags and read it. To Louisa, Merry Christmas, love Uncle Greg. She did not really remember what Uncle Greg looked like. She saw him mostly in photos. She put the tag down and went to the window. From her bedroom upstairs, she had a clear view of the street. She could see the snowmen kids had built, the lights on each house, and the figures moving inside their warm rooms. Her eyes landed on number 18. The Adeyemi's house. She knew them a little. They sometimes caught the same bus. Papa Adeyemi often walked past in the early morning, his bakery uniform already dusted with flour. Mama Adeyemi came home late, her shoulders drooping. Louisa had watched their Christmases for years. She had seen Toby stand outside, hands in his pockets, watching the other kids play with their new gadgets. She had seen the girls in the window. She had seen the parents' brave smiles. Every year, Louisa's own house filled up with more things. And every year, number 18 stayed quiet. No visitors. No party. No big tree lit up in the window. Just the family. Alone together. Tonight, as Louisa watched, she saw Toby turn away from the window and walk back into the room. The light behind him was dim. She imagined the simple meal, the careful counting of coins. A warm sadness rose in her chest. She pressed her hand to the glass. This can't be it again, she whispered to herself. Not this year. The thought came to her softly, like a snowflake landing on her sleeve. She could do something. Not everything. But something. She was 17. She had a phone, a bank card, and more gifts than she needed. She had time after school, and she had eyes that saw what other people missed. Her heart started to beat faster. A plan began to form. The next day, while her parents were at work, Louisa pulled a shoebox from under her bed. Inside were coins and folded notes. Birthday money. Pocket money. Extra cash from helping her neighbor walk their dog. And few gift cards from relatives who did not know what to buy her. She had been saving without a clear reason. Now she knew what it was for. She wrote on the lid in thick black pen, "For Christmas." For them. She sat on the floor with her back against her bed and opened the shopping app on her phone. What present would Toby like, she murmured. She remembered seeing him one afternoon in the sports shop window, staring at a bright red football with his hands in his pockets. His face had lit up for a moment, then he had turned away. She searched for the same football and Man City jersey, and added it to her basket. For you, she said softly. For Beezy, she chose a doll with rich brown skin and a crown of curly black hair, the kind most shops did not put in the front window. The doll wore a sparkly dress and came with tiny shoes. For you, she whispered again. For little Fola, she chose a colorful picture book full of stories and drawings. The title read, Stories of Quiet Heroes. On the cover was a little girl wearing a superhero cape. For you too, Louisa said. She added warm gloves and hats. A soft scarf for Mama. A thick wool cap for Papa. She hesitated, then searched the local grocery store's website and began to build a Christmas feast. Roast chicken. Herbed potatoes. Carrots glazed with honey. Fresh bread. Jollof rice from a local African restaurant she knew Papa might like. And a chocolate cake decorated with strawberries. She bit her lip as she watched the total grow. It was a lot. But each time she thought of stopping, she pictured the Adeyemi's home. The broken lights. Their tired faces. The children trying to be brave. It's only money, she told herself. They only get one Christmas this year. So do I. I can make it count. She clicked place order and felt a thrill run through her body, like the moment just before a roller coaster drops. That evening at dinner, she tried to speak. "Mom," she began. Her mother looked up from her phone. "Yes, darling? Can we what if we invited the family across the street for Christmas? The Adeyemis. They're always alone. We have so much food every year." Her mother shook her head lightly, her earrings glittering. "Oh Louisa, you're sweet, but we don't really know them. And we already have so many people coming. The house will be full. It's not the best time." Louisa tried again. "We could send them something. Maybe some food or gifts. Just a little bit." Her father, still in his work shirt, looked over the top of his glasses. "We give to charity every year," he said. "Your mum donates through her company. I sponsor children overseas. We are doing our part." He smiled at her, but it did not quite reach his eyes. "You have a soft heart. That's good. But you don't need to worry about everyone, okay?" The conversation moved on. Her parents started talking about the upcoming party and the people they needed to impress. Louisa stared down at her plate. Maybe they were right. Maybe she did not have to worry about everyone. But this was not everyone. This was one family. Right across the street. She knew their faces. She knew their names. And now she had already pressed place order. The plan was in motion. With or without her parents' approval. 2 days before Christmas, Louisa checked the delivery emails again and again. "Out for delivery," one message read. "Delayed due to weather," read another. Her heart sank. Snowstorms had slowed the vans. Roads were icy. Parcels were getting lost. "What if the gifts don't make it?" she whispered to the empty room. She imagined the Adeyemi children waking up to another bare Christmas. Her chest tightened. She opened the live chat with the delivery company, her fingers flying across the keyboard. "Hi, I need to make sure a parcel arrives before Christmas for a family," she typed. "It's really important." The person at the other end explained that they would try their best, but the weather was difficult. Louisa thanked them anyway and shut her eyes. "Please," she said softly. She did not know who she was speaking to. Maybe to the sky. Maybe to the snow. Maybe to God. Please let it get there in time. On Christmas Eve afternoon, just as the sky began to turn a pale pink, a delivery van finally pulled up in front of number 18. Louisa almost fell off her bed when she saw it through the window. She scrambled to her feet and pressed her hands to the glass. Her heart hammered like a drum. The delivery man stepped out, stamping snow from his boots. He loaded his arms with boxes wrapped in the company's brown tape. Louisa could just make out the names written on the stickers. Mama Adeyemi. Papa Adeyemi. Toby. BZ. Fola. She watched as he walked slowly, carefully, to their front door. He knocked. Inside, the Adeyemi family froze. Who could that be? Mama murmured, wiping her hands on a towel. Maybe it's the landlord, Papa said quietly. Toby moved first. He hurried to the door and opened it. The cold air rushed in, along with the smell of snow and distant bonfires. The delivery man smiled. Special delivery for the Adeyemi family, he said. From, well, it says here, from a secret friend. Secret friend? Toby repeated, confused. Mama came to the door, her eyes already wide. I didn't order anything, she said. The man shrugged kindly. Sometimes at Christmas, people like to surprise each other. Sign here, please. Her hand shook slightly as she took the pen. Moments later, boxes filled the small hallway. The family stared at them as if they might disappear. From her window, Louisa bit her lip, afraid and excited all at once. Please like them, she whispered. Please, please like them. Inside, the Adeyemi children fell to their knees beside the parcels. This one has my name. Beezy shouted, her eyes shining. And this one has mine. Toby said, unable to keep the grin from his face. Mine too, Fola squealed, hugging her box as if it were a long-lost friend. Wait, Papa said gently. Let's move them to the living room. We will open them together. They gathered on the worn sofa, the boxes stacked like treasure at their feet. Go on, Mama said softly. Open them. The sound of tearing paper filled the room. Toby lifted the lid from his box and stared. There, shining even in the dim light, was the red football he had wanted for so long. His breath caught. How did they know? He whispered. He ran his hand over the smooth surface, feeling the ridges beneath his fingers. Beezy unwrapped her present and gasped. It looks like me, she said, staring at the curly-haired doll. Her voice shook. Her hair is like mine. Look, Mama. She's beautiful. Fola opened her box and found the storybook. She touched the cover gently. Heroes, she read slowly. Like us? Mama unwrapped a soft scarf the color of warm caramel. She pressed it to her cheek, feeling the softness, the kindness in the choice. Papa found a thick wool cap and a pair of gloves. He swallowed and looked away, pretending to blink away dust in his eye. Someone thought of us, he said quietly. Really thought of us. Joy rose like sunlight in their small living room. On the other side of the street, Louisa exhaled, tears prickling her eyes. They like them, she whispered. They really like them. She watched as the children laughed and showed one another their gifts. The house, for the first time she could remember, seemed to glow from the inside. That night, as the family fell asleep with smiles on their faces, Louisa lay awake. The shoebox under her bed was nearly empty now. Only a few coins rattled softly inside. She did not feel poor. She felt full. But there was one more part of the plan. The feast. She checked the email again. The order from the grocery store and the restaurant was set to arrive on Christmas morning. She crossed her fingers under the blanket. Please arrive, she whispered. Please, please arrive. Christmas morning dawned quiet and pale. The sky was the color of pearl. In number 18, the Adeyemi family woke to the sound of nothing. It was early. The street was still. Toby got out of bed and stepped carefully over the creaky floorboard so he would not wake Fola. He looked at the wrapped football resting safely by the wall. A smile tugged at his lips. For a moment, he forgot about everything else. The overdue bills. The long shifts. The things his parents tried to hide from him. There was a knock at the door. He froze. Another knock. It was firm but friendly. Toby grabbed his dressing gown and hurried to open it. A different delivery man stood there this time, his cheeks pink from the cold. Behind him, on the pavement, was a trolley stacked high with boxes and silver containers steaming at the edges. Merry Christmas, the man said. Special delivery. It says here, from your secret Santa. Mama and Papa appeared behind Toby, eyes wide. Secret Santa? Papa repeated. That's what it says. The man checked his paper. A full Christmas meal and more. Where would you like it? They cleared a space on the table, hearts pounding. Soon the small kitchen was filled with smells they usually only caught passing other people's houses. Roast chicken, golden and glistening. Potatoes roasted with herbs. Bright orange carrots with a shining glaze. Fresh bread still warm in its paper bag. A big bowl of jollof rice, rich with spices. A chocolate cake, glossy with icing, and topped with strawberries shining like jewels. Fola stood on a chair just to see it all. Is this really for us? She whispered. Mama's eyes filled with tears. Yes, she said. It is for us. Papa nodded slowly. Today, he said, his voice low and full, we are not forgotten. They joined hands around the table. Let us give thanks, Mama said. They bowed their heads. Words of gratitude filled the room, rising like the steam from the food. Across the street, Louisa watched through a thin gap in her curtain. She saw the family gather at the table. She saw Mama wipe her eyes and laugh. She saw Toby pull his sisters into a hug. A soft warmth filled Louisa's chest. She felt like she was standing in the glow of a secret star. After breakfast, the street grew livelier. Children ran outside to test their new gifts. Parents called from porches, warning them not to slip on the ice. Toby pulled on his second-hand trainers and stepped onto the pavement, holding the red football carefully under one arm. The air was sharp and cold, but his heart felt strangely light. Across the road, he noticed a movement at one of the upstairs windows of number 7. The curtain twitched. He stopped. For a moment, he could have sworn he saw a glimpse of golden curls. Louisa's curls. The girl from across the street. He remembered the way she sometimes watched the lane quietly, the way she smiled shyly when they passed each other. The way she helped an older neighbor carry shopping one day, without being asked. Something clicked in his mind. The timing. The way the gifts seemed to fit them so well. The way the food order came from 2 different places, like someone had really thought about it. His heart thumped. Could it be her? He whispered. The curtain shifted again. Very slowly, Toby raised his hand. Just a little wave. Small, but full of meaning. Thank you. I see you. I know, or at least, I think I know. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the curtain opened a fraction wider, and Louisa's face appeared, her eyes wide and bright. When she saw his raised hand, she froze. Her cheeks flushed pink. She hesitated, then lifted her own hand in return. The smallest wave. The quietest yes. Snow fell between them, soft and silent. 2 houses. And 2 worlds. One line of kindness stretching from window to doorstep, across class, across color, and across fear. Toby smiled. Louisa smiled back. No words were spoken. None were needed. Something inside both of them settled, like snow finding its place on a still night. That evening, as the lights of Maple Lane twinkled against the winter sky, a narrator could have stepped in and spoken to anyone watching. If there had been a narrator, perhaps they would have said, Christmas is not only about the things we receive. It is about the love we choose to give. Sometimes that love looks like money. Sometimes it looks like time. Sometimes it looks like a box of food delivered to a quiet house. And sometimes, it looks like a girl across the street, brave enough to care in secret, and a boy who lifts his hand to say, I see you. Thank you. These are the quiet miracles. The ones that never make the news. The ones that live in people's hearts forever. The camera would slowly pull back, showing Maple Lane under its blanket of snow. Lights glowing. Music drifting. Laughter spilling out from warm windows. In one house, a family who thought they had been forgotten sat around a table, full and joyful. In another, a girl who had always felt a little alone in her big, busy house hugged her knees to her chest and felt, for the first time in a long time, that her life truly mattered. Because this Christmas, love had crossed the street. This Christmas, a secret Christmas angel had taken flight. And nothing on Maple Lane would ever feel quite the same again.